Everyone who has made it big, regardless of where they come from or the field they've succeeded in, has made one choice the rest of us are usually dead scared to make: breaking free from the mediocre and the average. After all, the moment they do it, criticism, hate, ridicule, and so many other negative things come their way. Not because they're doing something wrong, but because actually there's a deeper phenomenon at play, and the moment you understand it, which is today, you actually gain the courage to live your life, to change your life, and to let your dreams take flight. That is why today I want to introduce you to the psychology of criticism, which has a lot more to do with mirrors than we first realize. I know you must be thinking, the psychology of criticism, mirrors, what's this whole thing that he's talking about? What's the connection? Well, let me introduce you to the connection through this wonderful quote by the psychologist Carl Jung. He said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." I'd like to extend that by adding, or it can make us bitter critics who refuse to look within and see our own truth. You see, the fundamental principle here is simple. If something triggers you, if something hurts you, if something is making you feel bad or angry or agitated or frustrated or whatever your emotional reaction may be, it's because there's an element of truth to the situation that you don't want to yet admit. Like, think about it. If there's somebody who's going to the gym, who's exercising like full time, who has proper muscles, abs, everything, like that person is in the best shape of their life, and you call that person fat, is the person going to mind it? Not really. But someone who is out of shape and someone who hates themselves for being out of shape, you say this to them and suddenly they're triggered. How dare you call me that? And their own justifications or their own anger inside, it starts to bloom, it starts to come up. Now, I am not saying go out there and make fun of people, go out there and hate on people, go out there and do all of these crazy things. That's not what I'm saying. But what I want you to understand is that if somebody else is criticizing you, something which you have no control over, and it is affecting you, it's got nothing to do with you, it's got everything to do with them. So there's two sides here that I want you to really understand. One, if someone's criticism is deeply affecting you, you need to look within and see what part of that are you allowing yourself to get triggered by. Because if it's not true, if it's not real, if it's got nothing to do with you, then you really should not get triggered. And the second thing I want you to understand is, which will help you get this criticism out of your mind, is to understand why people criticize in the first place. You see, think about it simply in this way. If someone is here at level A and someone else is up here at level F, now there's a huge gap here, right? The person at level A can either look at person at level F and seek inspiration, seek guidance, seek help on how I can grow too. But person A, the person who's at this level, does not want to feel bad about themselves. He or she does not want to feel less, feel inferior. So what they will do is, they will find ways to critique, to criticize, to put down the person at level F so they can justify why they are still at level A and feel good about it, rather than actually learning from the person and going up to the other level. So every time someone criticizes someone else, not their work, not their profession, not their skills or actions, but the person themselves on a level of characteristics, the only reason they're doing that is because they can see a mirror. In this person who's bold enough to live their life, this person can see the mirror of everything they wish they were, but they are not. Everything they wish they could do, but they are afraid to do so. But rather than admitting that truth, it feels easier to criticize the other person and put them down on your level or even below, just so you can feel better about yourself. Now, a lot of people don't do this consciously, but this is how the ego works when being right is way more important than doing what is right. So if we assume that we are the person who's at level A and someone else that we are looking up to, or someone else who's at another level is out there, rather than appreciating the person, we will usually resort to judging, critiquing, hating, criticizing the other person, their choices, their actions, and who they are. Not because they deserve it, but because if we appreciate them, It's an admission of the fact that we are not living our best lives. None of us want to do that, right? None of us want to feel responsible for the mediocre life we have accepted, so we go out of our way to justify why our life choices are good by putting the other person down. But my only question is that worth it? Is that something that actually changes your life? Like, for example, if you critique the fit person and you call him fat, does he bother? Does it matter to him? No. Just like that, the people who are making it big, the people who are growing, the people who are succeeding are not doing so because they don't get the criticism. 80% of the world population is at level A only. That's their psychology. To feel better about ourselves, pull the other person down because being right is more important than doing what is right. The 20% that leave, the 20% that break through, the 20% who become achievers I talked about in the start of this video, well, those people, they have the courage to take in the criticism and not let it affect them. Just like the fit person doesn't get bothered by being called fat, the person who is actually on a clear mission, who's on a clear goal, on a clear path, doesn't mind losing the critics, doesn't mind losing the mediocre people, doesn't mind the hate, the criticism, the judgment that comes his or her way. That is why I'm pretty sure that if you're trying to do something different or follow your heart and your dreams, some criticism has already come your way. And if it has, I don't want you to feel alone. I want you to feel grateful and take heart instead, because it's a sign you are doing something right. It can feel a bit confusing here. That's why I want you to now understand with me the psychology and the incentive that a critic has in pulling you down so that you can learn how to get unbothered by it without letting it affect your life. So there are two ways in which people can share their opinions with you. The first way is when they give you feedback. Now, feedback is for your improvement, and there the intention is if you're here to help you get better and go on an even higher level. So what these people will do, the ones who are inclined towards giving feedback with the intention and incentive of helping you out, is they'll be specific. They'll be clear. They'll show you, oh hey, by the way, this is what you could do better. Not as a way to put you down, but as a way to help you improve even further. And although the words between the feedback givers and the critics might seem similar, you will notice the difference in the energy and the way it is showing up. But with the critic, the incentive is not your benefit. In fact, when the 80% of the world that is used to being the critic, they see someone break free from the chains of mediocrity that they have used as an excuse to stay where they are rather than changing their lives, they don't like that. They don't like that someone among their circle is becoming an example that, oh, wait a minute. If we all chose to do so, we all could actually succeed. So we have no excuse for being the way we are. They don't like that. They like to complain. They like to have blame. They like to feel helpless in their lives. So what they would rather do is put you down so they can justify why they are continuing to be mediocre the way they are. So every time you move further up ahead, their aim is, can we bring you down? 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 And the way they do it is incredible. They show up with care, they show up with concern, and they use a lot of different statements to convey a message of care that they're looking out for you when actually they're just looking out for themselves by making sure you don't work hard enough and you don't actually create the success you want. So every time they're criticizing you, it's got nothing to do with you. Every time they're putting your big ideas down, it's nothing to do with you. It's only their own insecurity being reflected as a mirror by your actions. But the bad news is, you can learn to take their words to heart. Because those words are specific, those words are challenging you, those words are putting you down. And so when they say, you don't really deserve this, did you even work hard enough for it? You're gonna burn yourself out if you just keep chasing that goal. Be more realistic. You can't just change the world like that. If it was that easy, everybody would have done it. And a lot more of these phrases that I'm sure you've heard every time you've tried to share your dream or crazy vision with a critic. And look, the problem is their arguments will seem perfectly logical. So it will be like a hot knife cutting through butter. The only thing is, now the butter is your dreams. Slowly but steadily, if you keep listening to the critics without actually confirming if what they're saying is right or not, you start to believe their words and you think, oh, wait a minute. Could they be right? Could this actually be true? What if I am dreaming too big? Anyways, no one from my family has ever made it happen. I'm just too crazy. I shouldn't do it. Better get a job or something like that. And the day you say that is the day they have won and the day you have lost. Now my question is, do you want to win or do you want to lose? Do you want to create the life you want or do you want to live mediocre just because someone else has pulled you down and dragged you down? I know your answer is you want to live your dream. So for that, you need to learn how to drown out this noise of criticism and use it as validation instead of something to be worried about. So simply think of it this way. Look at any criticism that's coming your way and ask yourself, is this helping me be better? Is this showing me where my loopholes are? Is this supporting me in the dream or showing me how I could choose a better dream? Or is it attacking my capability to do big things? There's a tiny difference between the phrases used for the first question and the second one. And the more adept you get at recognizing the difference, the more you can drown out the noise that's just a question on your capability, and the more you can focus on the genuine feedback that's there to help you grow and help you succeed. So learn to make this important distinction. Now, for example, you're watching this video and you might realize, wait a minute, he's talking about how to avoid critics, but I'm actually the one who does all of this. I'm the critic only. Well, if you're having that realization, great work. Take this as feedback, use it to improve. Am I putting you down in any way? No. But am I helping you improve? Of course I am. So this is a crucial distinction I want you to understand to be able to be unbothered by the noise. Just ask yourself, is this feedback or is this just plain up criticism? And if it is criticism, learn to ignore it. Put it out. And the simple quote that helps me do that is this wonderful line I read somewhere. I'm not sure where the attribution is. If any of you find it, please share in the comments. I'd be more than happy to add the credits. But the line was, you're trying to build something and you're trying to get into the top 1%, yet you expect the other 99% to understand what you're doing? That quickly put into the reframe that, wait a minute, why am I bothered if other people understand why I'm taking so much efforts to build a business right now or not? I should not be. I'm anyways doing something other people are not going to even dream of doing or take the risk of doing. I'm already 10 steps ahead. I'm not going to let them pull me back down. And so I stopped looking for people to understand me. I stopped looking for others to see the vision that I'm going with. And that is why even when I started a blog at the age of 12, I was the most uncool kid in my class then. Everybody was talking about Fortnite and all these other games, and here I was, the nerdy kid who's writing a blog about ideas like habits and psychology and self-improvement. But wait, guess what? That very same blog, that very tiny idea that I listened to, rather than listening to the criticism of all my classmates who believed, oh, he's up to nothing, he's just a nerd, he's just, trying to do something with his time because he doesn't know how to have fun. All these were different words that I heard. But because I avoided listening to those words, today I'm a coach helping hundreds of people transform their lives. I've written more than 17 million words over the last 6 years. I've built a business and become financially independent at the age of 19. I'm training people across the world. I'm showing up every day. I have a YouTube channel with more than 1,000 subscribers now. I'm doing sessions every single day. I'm living my days doing the work I absolutely love. And I have a best-selling book that also made a world record for me being the youngest non-fiction self-published author. All because in that 7th grade classroom at the age of 12, I chose to listen to my heart and not the criticisms, not the noise. And I'm not trying to be boastful here, but what I'm trying to show you is those classmates did not understand where I was coming from. They did not see the bigger vision I was trying to aim at. Even it wasn't clear to me back then, but I knew this isn't going to be for nothing. This is going to amount to something. And what it has amounted to in the last 6.5 years is something even I am amazed by. Now I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next 10 years. And by the way, do I still get criticism now? Of course I do. Do I still get unnecessary feedback from random strangers on the internet? Of course I do. Do I also get to hear a lot of different things from the people around me? Yes. But just like I've shown you here, criticism versus feedback, I've learned to drown out the noise and listen to my heart and aim to make it big. So all I want you to know today is, if you're being criticized, good, love it, go for it, be proud of it, because that means you're doing something most people don't have the courage to do. Lean into it rather than being ashamed of it and see where your power takes you. So my final question is, are you ready to take that bet on yourself and listen to yourself rather than the noise and criticism of the world? Because the moment you do, your dreams start taking magical flight and your life completely changes. Welcome to the world of being an achiever. Criticism is just the price you have to pay.